Aya was an avid collector of rare and antique dolls. She scoured markets and online auctions, always seeking something unique. One rainy evening, she stumbled upon a listing for a doll described as the Sadako doll. The seller claimed it was a handcrafted replica inspired by Japanese ghost folklore. The doll's price was surprisingly low, and despite the eerie description, Aya purchased it without hesitation. A week later, the doll arrived. It was unsettling, to say the least. Standing about 2 feet tall, it had long black hair that cascaded over its porcelain face, hiding most of its features except for its cracked, hauntingly lifelike eyes. Its white kimono was stained, as though it had been dragged through mud. Aya shrugged off the doll's eerie appearance, telling herself it was just an artistic representation. She placed it in her display cabinet alongside her other dolls and forgot about it. That night, however, strange things began to happen. The first sound woke her at midnight, a faint rustling like fabric brushing against wood. Groggy, Aya dismissed it as the wind outside. But when the sound persisted, she got up to investigate. Her apartment was empty, the windows tightly shut. The only thing out of place was the Sadako doll. It had fallen from the cabinet, lying face down on the floor. Aya picked it up and placed it back, muttering about her clumsiness. Yet, as she turned away, she swore she heard a soft giggle. Childlike, but distorted. The next day, Aya found herself increasingly unnerved. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every time she passed the display cabinet, she felt the Sadako doll's cracked eyes boring into her. When she returned home from work, she found the doll sitting on her couch, its head tilted unnaturally. She was sure she hadn't left it there. Aya's unease turned to fear as the days passed. At night, the doll seemed to move on its own, always appearing closer to her bedroom. Once, she awoke to find it sitting on her bedside table, its face turned toward her, lips slightly parted as if it were about to whisper. In desperation, Aya decided to get rid of the doll. She took it to a nearby shrine, explaining her ordeal to the priest. He examined the doll closely and paled. "This is no ordinary doll," he said gravely. "It holds a vengeful spirit." The priest performed a purification ritual and promised to seal the doll away. Aya felt a wave of relief as she left the shrine, certain her nightmare was over. That night, she finally slept peacefully. But when she woke up, her blood ran cold. The Sadako doll was sitting at the foot of her bed, its cracked eyes glinting in the moonlight. Its lips moved, and in a raspy voice, it whispered, "You can't escape me." Aya's scream echoed through the silent apartment. The next morning, her neighbors found her room empty, except for the Sadako doll sitting on the windowsill, waiting for its next victim.